The Student Activities Office at Florida Gateway College sponsored a time management workshop. During the workshop, students learned to plan and exercise control over the amount of time spent on specific activities.
Okay, so my name is Congressi. I am doing a professional development workshop in regards to time management, which is something that almost everyone struggles with. I'm sure all of you have had your own issues with things either being last minute or just kind of rushed or you're stressed, whatever it is, which typically comes from issues with time management. They come from other things too, but time management is typically around the core of it all. All right, so over the course of the next 45 minutes-ish, I'm going to go through, I'll give you some tips, some tricks, everything from apps that can help you out to things that you probably haven't thought of that you can do. They're really simple, that'll boost your ability to get stuff done in a timely fashion. And some of it actually is really simple, you just have to think about it. All right, so first things first is what are the benefits of time management? Because a lot of people think time management is just organizational stuff and maybe I'm not a very organized person, but I know what I'm doing. I don't really need time management. There's not really a point to it. But there's actually good reasons to have it. For one, you have less stress, more free time. Whenever you're stressed out, you're struggling to get stuff done. When you have all of that, some people will say that I work really well under pressure. And that can be true, but even people who work good under pressure need time to relax. You can't have that pressure 100% of the time. Otherwise, you just become this little wound up ball of intensity that can't get anything accomplished because you're too busy freaking out. We have a few people who are admitting to that. Additionally, you have less time wasted and less rework. That's a big one in professional side of it. If you are well organized with your time management, then you're not spending so much time thinking, what do I need to do? How do I make it happen? You've already got your steps laid out and done in advance, so you're good there. And the benefit of that is by having a plan already set up in place, you're not having to go back and do the same thing or check the same thing 4 or 5 times, which is rework. I mean, that's basically a huge amount of time wasted because you're double checking yourself repeatedly over and over again to make sure there weren't any errors because you weren't organized when you started. And then of course there are getting things done and more opportunities. When you have stuff done and you can show that to your boss or to other people around you, maybe your friends or family, it makes a big difference because they'll see it and say, hey, this person is moving things faster than anybody else. They may not know it's because of your organizational skills, but what they are going to notice is that your task list is 4 things further down than everybody else's. And that makes a difference. So make sure that you use some of these. You don't have to use everything, but use some of these to help yourself out because it will truly make a difference for you in how much you can actually get done in a day, which is a surprising amount when you have to have it done. So the big question is, what kind of obstacles do we face? Because that can vary from person to person. The first one is unclear objectives. When you get a new task and you're given it and you're like, okay, I've got to get this done. I've not actually done this before, so I don't really know what I'm doing. You're basically with a blindfold trying to feel out what you're doing and you're completely lost. And that's because a lot of people just jump right into it. They don't take the time to stop, to plan, to think about what they actually want to do. They just immediately jump in and try to figure it out as they go, which can work in some cases. But if you have a really difficult or complex task, especially if it involves maybe other departments at work or multiple people, you can't just jump in. You've got to take time to organize stuff because you got to have everybody on the same page. Otherwise, everybody's doing different things, and later on down the road, it's all going to clash. And then you've wasted a bunch of time and you have to rework and do it all over again. Second one, this is one that a lot of people really, really struggle with because we want to be nice. We want to be helpful. We have an inability to say no. If you have, I'll get to you in a second, if you have 20 tasks on your plate, you don't have the ability to take on another 2 or 3 things. You already got a whole course load of what you're working with. This is particularly with people who are doing both school and work and family. If you're having all of these different things happen, you do not have time to join a Little League team and travel every single weekend because you're probably studying or working or taking care of your family. You can't just say yes because you want to please other people. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I'm really busy right now, but you know what? If you need to get this done, maybe take this project over to Bill next door. Maybe he can help because he's really good at this kind of stuff and I trust him that he could probably help you out. Because you know what? Maybe Bill needs something to do. Maybe he's busy, but it doesn't hurt to point them in the right direction, at least show them that you're not just saying no, you're actually trying to help them along the way. This next one is the one that I think most of us suffer from. Procrastination. It's so easy to put off what we could do today to tomorrow and just wait. In fact, I'm pretty sure everyone in here, and I know for sure some of you in here, are guilty of last-minuting things. Saying, I have plenty of time, I can do it in the morning before class, or on the way to work, I'll stop and take care of that thing that I was supposed to do last night. It's really easy to just put it off and think things will work out. The downside is that comes with two issues. One, you stress yourself out because now that's in the back of your mind. I can't forget it, I can't forget it, I can't forget it, I can't forget it. It's hard to sleep when you have something in the back of your mind like that. You might sleep, but you probably won't be as restful as you were before. Additionally, when you have that in the back of your mind constantly going, you're not taking into account all of the things that could go wrong. Think about it. You decide, okay, I meant to drop off that package this morning, or let's say I meant to drop off the package yesterday after work at the post office. But you know what? I'll do it in the morning. This happened to me this morning, actually, which is why I'm bringing it up. Because, so I went to the post office at 8 o'clock. Well, guess what? Only self-service is open at 8 o'clock. And all they accept are letters. They don't accept packages. You have to wait until the people are there, which isn't until 8:30. Well, I had to be at work. That wasn't happening. I couldn't just hang out for another 30 minutes and burn my time. So I ended up getting caught in a catch-22. I burned myself yesterday by not dropping it off when I could have, and now I'm stuck. I can't drop it off because I didn't know that for 30 minutes they were actually only going to be accepting the letters in the self-service. You have to say, you know what, I'm just going to get it done. Get it out of the way. It helps. It really does. This one, and this is the best one because you can see this one in action, is disorganization. Have you ever gone over to a friend's house or maybe to a colleague's office and everything is a mess? Now, they mentally know. They're like, okay, you want that paperwork, that's in stack 43 over there on the left, 3 layers down, all right? Or they're like, oh, you wanted the camping stuff. That'll be in the garage on the third shelf down. Just move all of the other stuff out of the way. You'll find it. They're very disorganized. They don't have things set in a good place or easy to access. People who have a bajillion sticky notes everywhere, they're typically unorganized. That's their, okay, the sticky note's bright and colorful, I'll notice it and I won't forget. That's because I'm disorganized and I don't have time to actually do things what I need to make sure that I'm on point. I know a few of my colleagues who are like that. And I'm sometimes guilty of it myself, but it's one that you can see more than the rest because it's very obvious to everyone, including the people who you don't think will notice. Because when you walk in and you see somebody else's stuff that's unorganized and you're like, God, how do they work in this? They think the same thing about you if they come in your office or come to your house and they see that everything's a mess. They know. You're not fooling nobody. We know. All right? So what do we do to overcome these obstacles? And there's a surefire set of steps that you can do that will always help you. For one, post up your goal. It's really hard to ignore something that's in your face 24/7. This doesn't just have to be at work where you could use a bright, colorful sticky note like the picture. Yeah, sure, that gets your attention. That makes it easy for you to see it and maybe remember it. Maybe you decide to have a whiteboard in your office or at home in your room. And in big, bold, underlined red letters, you put whatever it is that your goal is that you're going for. That helps. You're going to see it every day. Maybe for you, your goal isn't something that's easy to write down because it's something that's on the go. Maybe you want to be more active and walk, but you have a tendency of forgetting that. Okay, put your tennis shoes in your car. When you go to lunch and use your lunch hour, you'll see those tennis shoes and go, oh, right, I want to walk. I'm going to take part of my lunch to eat, and then maybe I'll go down to the lake and walk for 30 minutes because I don't need the full hour to actually eat the food. So just the simple things of prepping things, putting them in advance where they need to be, that'll help you. You'll remember it, you'll see it, and you won't have to worry about losing track repeatedly, and then you get into the loop of, maybe tomorrow. Your second thing, use apps, and I'm gonna get to this later, but there are lots of technology sources out there that you can use to help you. And when you come across them, some of them are really simple, some of them are very colorful and complicated. It depends on what you like. It's just up to you. The last one, and this one, you see it more in other cases than this, is tell others. When you tell somebody else that you're going to do something, you then become significantly more accountable for it than if you're just mentally keeping track on your own. You see it a lot with people who are on a new diet or trying to do weight loss. They'll tell other people, yeah, my goal is to lose 20 pounds. Because then those other people know, and now if you don't do it, you're letting them down. They're watching your accountability to see, are you actually going to do it? Are you going to stick to what you said? Or are you going to bail because that's easier? Same thing goes with time management. Tell people, yeah, I'm going to get that job done that we've been putting off for 3 months. I'm going to have it done by next week. Because then everybody's going to be watching you. Oh my God, did they actually get it done by next week? Because we've been waiting for months for it to happen. Tell people, it makes a difference. So this is one that I think a lot of people think, okay, I need to organize, and so they start organizing. But there's a step before. Before organizing, you need to prioritize. How important is it really that you really want to beat that new video game level? I mean, yeah, sure, for you personally, maybe it's a new challenge for you to see if you can do it. But at the same time, that's not nearly as important if you have an English paper and you've been putting it off for 3 weeks and it's due tomorrow night. You need to prioritize. What's more important? Once you've prioritized, then you can organize. Organizing is a lot easier when you've decided what you actually need to get done, because when you have 8 different things and you're like, I need to do this and this and this and this and this, that's all good and fine. You know what you need to do. But if you're focusing on all 8 at once, are you really making any progress? Probably not, because your mind is scattered. You're all over the place. So make sure that you prioritize, then organize, and then lastly, you can simplify. Because once you've figured out what you're organizing, where you're going with it, when you write down all the steps, it gets a lot easier to do the work than if you're just doing it on the fly. So prioritize, then organize. If there's nothing else that you take from this workshop, prioritize and then organize. This is actually something that I use in my office. I will take and make a chart. You have things that are of low importance and of high importance. And you have things that are of high urgency and you have things of low urgency. Obviously, if it's of low urgency and low importance, it is not the first thing you want to be doing. Do the things that are of high importance and high urgency. They're the ones that are on your mind the most, the things that have got your back tight because you're stressed about it. You're trying to figure out, I need to get this done, but at the same time, I'm so stressed about it, I need to just breathe. And it's okay, just breathe. Organize out what you need. Prioritize it. This is the best way that I can go to prioritize things for me. Because I can look at it and say, all right, I have 3 sticky notes of things I need to do in my red region. I have 12 that I need in the gray region, but that's not really important right now. So let's stick with the section that I need to be focused on most. And sometimes it can be a reward. I'm going to do something that's really urgent, and then I'll take 15 minutes to do something that's not quite as important because I need to relax for a few minutes, and it's probably not stressing me out like the other stuff is. So I'll use that as my relaxer. I'm still getting stuff done, but I'm also taking some time to refresh because my mind just melted. This is a system that a friend of mine uses here at the college. She is awful at majority types of organization, but colors are a wonderful method of fixing that, especially because they're bright and everybody enjoys seeing colors of different kinds. So what she does is she puts things that are super important, like documents that all they need left to be done is signed by her boss. That's going to go in the red because we're basically there. We're done. All we need is somebody to sign it and we're good. And then the things like, oh, I want to buy this new thing for my office. It's not of super high importance. I just want to get around to it. I'm going to put that in blue. Eventually I'll get there. Maybe I'll pull it out at random one day when I'm not too busy and see, what do I need to do from the blue section? But it makes it really easy because now she has it saved. She can always go back to it whenever she needs to. She doesn't have to worry about remembering it because it's there physically. And she's got it organized and sorted, so she's not forgetting what she needs. You don't necessarily have to use colors. You could use a number system. For me, I use my email, and I categorize my emails as what's important and what's not. And it really just depends on what works for you. What do you use the most? Most of us have smartphones. It's really easy to organize on a smartphone, which I'll show you later if you need to know. I'm putting this back in here, even though I already said it before, just in case you forgot, because I'm saying it again. I know all of you like to be nice people. Don't forget you can say no. It's only 2 letters. It's really easy. N, O. They're very close in the alphabet. Make sure that you say them occasionally. You don't have an issue with saying no. Nobody judges you, and if they do, then that's their problem, for not wanting to overload yourself. Because if you say yes to everyone, chances are, yeah, you're going to help everybody. But if you do a poor job of it with each person, do you think they're going to come back to you for help next time? No. You're going to be like, I asked for help. They kind of helped. Really, they kind of made a mess, and I had to go back and fix it afterwards and just not tell them. Say no if you need to. It's easy. I promise. And if not, just print off a bunch of those fortune cookies and send it to them, and they'll get the message. This is my favorite slide. I love this slide so much. Quit making excuses. Putting it off, complaining about it, dreaming about it, whining about it, crying about it. Nobody No, don't bother with that. Believing you can't or worrying if you can. Why is that your focus? All right? Do not wait until you're older. I hate that excuse. I'm going to wait until I'm older, then I'm going to do it. Really? Is that guaranteed? Are you sure you're going to make it there? I know some people who haven't. Don't put it off until you're older. Don't put it off until you're skinnier, richer, braver, all around better, whatever that's supposed to mean. No. Suck it up, hold on, say a prayer if you need to, make a plan, and do it. Stop making excuses, because procrastination gets you nowhere. All it does is disappoint you. You may not admit it, but it'll disappoint you. And it'll disappoint the people that whatever it is related to, they have to know about it. All right? Don't make excuses. There's no reason. Any excuse you give, I can probably find a way around. There are some good ones out there, but you know what? Maybe somebody's in the hospital, and I understand you need to go visit them, but they're probably sleeping at some point. And you can be organizing stuff on your phone while they're sleeping, because they don't need you awake reading a book. Do what you need to do. There's always a way that you can use your time efficiently. Use your downtime. For me, I found this most helpful when I was in Gainesville. I went to the University of Florida, and I used to have to ride the buses. And it was a 30-minute ride both ways. It sucked. But that 30-minute ride became a lot easier when I suddenly had stuff to do. Typically, I used it to study textbooks, because as a student, that's what you do, endlessly, all the time. But occasionally, I would use it to surf the web, find out the news. It was helpful. I didn't ever watch television, so if I wanted to know what the news was, I would go to a website and find out what the news was. And then I was more knowledgeable. Sometimes you just need that to de-stress. Did you know that there's a study that actually proves after 45 minutes of doing the same thing, your productivity is reduced by almost 70%? Which makes it questionable sometimes why classes are longer than that. But ultimately, after 45 minutes, your brain has turned to mush. You've stopped absorbing stuff, and now it's just kind of coming in and going out. Because your brain needs time to absorb, to relax, and then prepare for more information again. That's why they tell students, when you're studying, use 45 minutes of study time and take 15 minutes to go do whatever it takes for you to relax a bit and stop thinking about it. Because in the back of your mind, you're sorting out all those things that you've just read or you've just watched, whatever it is. And then when you come back, you're prepped, you're ready. Your brain is gone, okay, I've made some connections now, I'm good, I've rested, I'm not tired of the monotone voice that's going on endlessly, and you're good to go, which is part of the reason why we're trying not to go over 45 minutes in this particular workshop. There's nothing wrong with trying to relax and de-stress. You need that. Everyone needs it, even the people who like that exciting lifestyle. Eventually, everyone has to de-stress. Organizing your agenda, checking or responding to emails. I put those because I actually know a couple of people, they find that relaxing. And that's to point out that not everyone relaxes in the same way. Yeah, sure, maybe you love books, and books are your way of relaxing. Grace over there hasn't stopped writing this entire time. Maybe that's what helps her relax. So just because it works for you doesn't mean it works for somebody else. You were upfront. You became a good example to use. Because for some people, emails, just reading them, looking, whether they're junk emails or normal emails, whatever they are, anything can relax you, and use that to your advantage. So this one, focus tips. We're kind of moving more into the what can you do other than just general knowledge about helping yourself. These are the ones that I personally find most effective, and I've heard from a few other people that are effective. Close your door for an hour. When you tune everything else out, you close your door for an hour, you can get amazing stuff done. Trust me, I know. How do you think this workshop happened? I'm joking. But you can get this so much done within a single hour time frame when you don't have anything distracting you. No phone calls, no Facebook, no people coming in and talking to you about whatever gossip is new on the street. It's just you and your work. And in that hour time frame, you'll probably get more done then than you will for the rest of the day. Speaking of Facebook, turn off your cell phone. You do not need your cell phone when you were working. You know how I know? Because if you're not willing to give time of day to coworkers and that kind of coworkers, clients, customers, whoever it is that's going to distract you for that hour that you close your door, then why are you giving time of day to Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, the news, text messages, whatever else it is? There's no reason to. And a lot of people will say, well, in case of emergency, I want my phone on. Okay, well then turn notifications off from everything except for those people. Or tell those people, if you have an emergency, call me on my work number. Because then I'll answer, then I know. And then I can turn my phone off and not be distracted by everything else. The phone ruins your productivity. Because all it takes is for you to be in the middle of working on something, and all of a sudden, ding, and you look over, you've completely forgotten what you're doing, and you're now just looking right at the phone, trying to process whatever that new information is that just came in. Oh my God, Betty just posted that she and her boyfriend broke up. Guess what? That doesn't change in an hour. That'll still be there in an hour. There's no reason to look at it right now. Clearing away your desk or your work area, whatever it is, your house maybe, is really good. At the end of each day, I try my best, I struggle with it sometimes, to clean my desk so that when I come in the next morning, I don't immediately walk in the office and go, nope, I don't want to be here, there's too much stuff on my desk, I'm already stressed out. If I come in, the desk is clean, it's like, all right, I was productive yesterday, I can do it again today. Time yourself. This either works for you or it doesn't. For me personally, it works really well. I can set myself a timer and say, I have 30 minutes to get this much done, or as much as I possibly can, let's go and see what happens. It works really well. I can get a lot done. Now, for me, that works. One of my best friends, if I give her a 30-minute timer and tell her go, all she can think about is the clock counting down. 28 minutes and 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, oh God. All she can think about. She gets nothing done. So it depends on who you are personally, if it works. Test it out, see. Maybe it works really well for you. And then you can just start timing yourself randomly on all kinds of things and get stuff done. This last one is one that most people almost never think about because it's more of your health related. And that is drinking water and exercising. When your body is dehydrated, you cannot process information at the same speed you could when you are hydrated. It's proven, it's a fact. If you want, I'll give you a source. You just can't. There's a reason they say you should drink 8 glasses of water a day or whatever it is. I drink 4 bottles of normal water every day. That accounts for exactly what I need. And by doing that, I can get a lot done. As proof of that, you can actually ask people who work out and exercise. If they don't drink water throughout the day, when they go to the gym, they struggle. It is much, much harder to work out at the gym if you aren't drinking water. You think it's any different for your brain? It's not. Exercise, same thing. People who exercise in the morning, their blood is pumping. They're good, they're invigorated, they're already being productive, they've paced themselves for the rest of the day. Some people do it at the end of the day. That's their reward at the end of the day for having done a good job. They go and exercise, and it helps them feel better. They burn away any stress that they had, and they're good to go. Some people do it in the middle of the day. I know a couple of them. I question how they can get back to work without being sweaty and stinky, but some people do it. Whatever works for you, try it. A little exercise goes a long way. And if you're not going to exercise, which you should, at least drink water, because that will help you more than anything else. Speaking of times of day, learn to utilize your time. What time do you wake up? Think about it. Some people wake up really early. I'm a morning person. By 7 o'clock, I'm up. I'm up and moving. Sometimes I don't want to be up and moving, but I am anyways, just because that's my internal clock. Some people, a friend of mine who lives up in Atlanta, does not wake up until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. Stays up all night long, wakes up around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So obviously, she is not going to be productive in the morning at all. If I wake her up hours early, and I'm like, hey, I need you to come with me, and we need to figure out this puzzle. You know, we're going to do an escape room. We're going to do it early in the morning. That's not going to fly. She's not going to be able to process that. Figure out when your best time to work is. You have about a 2-hour block every day that you're going to be most productive. For me, it's from about 8 to 10 a.m. In those 2 hours, I can move mountains. Now, lunchtime happens, I eat some food, which is why I have not eaten yet. My productivity through the floor. As soon as I eat, I'm done. Nope, nothing else is happening. The morning is my time to get stuff done, and I know it, which is why I'll close my office door in the morning. I'll open up in the afternoon, I'll converse with you, have fun. Some jokes, yeah, that's great. But in the morning, I've got to get stuff done, because that's the only time it's going to happen. Because I'm thinking about it, I'm invigorated, that's my time. Some people are afternoons, some people are evenings. You know those people, their schedule is typically wildly different than yours. Unless you're one of those people, in which case I'm so sorry. But just know when you should be working on stuff. When does your mind work the best? For students in general, your time is going to be in the morning because you're forced to hit that schedule. So let's talk about some technology. This is the task list on my computer right now. And in Outlook, for example, you could use other email systems. There's a little section called tasks, or maybe it's notes, that kind of thing. Use it to your advantage. I go through once a week at the beginning of the week, and I add all kinds of tasks in there. Anything I could possibly need, I'll put it in there. All right? And then I set when it's due, when I want it to remind me. Maybe I want it to remind me every day, every 10 minutes. God forbid. But if I want to do that, I can. And then it pops up on the screen. I can be in the middle of scrolling through Facebook and looking at the coolest thing I've ever seen, but it'll pop up right in my face and be like, hey, remember, you're supposed to do this at this time. Make sure you're getting it done. It's really effective. Now, as you can see, I have a couple of things that are red. I've missed some things. I'm behind schedule. And that lets me know, hey, you're falling behind, so whatever it is you were planning on doing this afternoon and wasting time, no, you don't have time for that. You gotta go finish stuff. You gotta get it done, all right? For me personally, I'll categorize things. If it's one of those absolutely urgent, get it done now, or if it's important but not like immediate, I can do it. Some things are just for my free time. I have that listed. If I want to play around with coding, because I like to work on computers, that's free time. I'm not really supposed to be doing that unless I have nothing else to do, in which case you can see I have plenty to do. Use tasks, sticky notes, normal notes, apps to your advantage. Speaking of apps, there are a bajillion apps that can help you with time management. Really, there are. Some of them are really boring. Some of them are really fun. Epic Win, for example. That's an app. You open it up, it gives you points and treats your life like a video game until you get stuff done. It makes it a lot easier to get things done when you have all these apps to go with. And in the event that you don't want to install an app on your phone, I totally understand. That's easy. Just pick up your phone and tell it, hey Siri, remind me at 12:45 to clean up the food in the back after the workshop.
Okay, I'll remind you.
Boom. 12:45, she won't forget. I might, she won't forget. And it'll go off and let me know that I need to go back there and work on stuff. It's that easy. Pick up your phone, tell what you want. Because chances are you'll forget it if you're trying to remember on the fly. Some people are good at remembering. I can typically keep about a month's worth of time frame in my mind where I have everything in track and in order. So if you ask me for anything up until about the end of February, I can probably tell you when that meeting is going to be, who it's with, where it's going to be. You start jumping into March or you start asking me about last October, I'm going to forget. It's not going to be something that I mentally have track of anymore. So I use my phone. I use my phone more than I use apps. Personally, for me, I don't have time to jump on apps all the time because I have a limited data plan. And I know that, so I'm not going to use them if it's going to burn my data. But if you have unlimited, it's not a problem. Use technology to your advantage. We live in a technological age. There's no reason you can't download all of these apps and work with them. I would personally go with one, but if you want to use multiple, you can. Ultimately, I want you to remember this. The goal of time management is to find balance between what you want to do and what you need to do. There's a very, very fine line. And some people will confuse themselves on what they actually want, what they don't want, or what they need, what they don't need. And you're like, did you really need to do that? I don't think that you did. You might have wanted to do it, but you didn't need to do it. Make sure you keep track of that. If you can find a balance, you're good. There's no reason that you have to be all of what you need and never what you want to do. Everybody needs balance. Find what works for you and utilize it. And it'll take time for you to find that. Sometimes you can write down in an hour what you're going to do for the next day, and you're good. You're good to go. You're like, all right, I have my to-do list. I'm good. I'll check it off as I go. God forbid I lose my to-do list, then I'm done for it, but I know what I'm going to do. Other people, no. They need extensive planning because they are far too forgetful. They have too much on their plate to worry about it right now. While I was in college, that was my thing. I had to-do lists everywhere. Anytime you went through my house, there was a to-do list. There was one on the fridge, there was one on the freezer, there was one on my computer, there was one next to the bed, there was one on top of my alarm clock, there was one in my closet. Everywhere I went, I had a to-do list because I was really good at forgetting it. Make sure you find your balance. Ultimately, that's the end. I hope that you guys learned something. If nothing else, remember, prioritize, then organize. It's great to be organized. It doesn't help you if you're organizing 6 things at once. All right? Are there any questions? Okay, then I guess we're good to go.